Hello, I'm Paul Seven Lewis, and welcome to 1 Minute Theatre Reviews. In a moment, I'll be reviewing Him, a play streamed live from the Almeida Theatre in London and starring Adrian Lester and Danny Sapani. First, just a reminder about my radio show, where I talk about and play songs from stage musicals. You can listen to it live on boxofficeradio.co.uk or catch up on the podcast version on mixcloud.com. So, Him. And although it's spelt Hymn, it is a play about two men. Two sons, two brothers, as it turns out. And I want to say straight off, it's possibly the best piece of streamed theatre I've seen. It's simply two men acting and reacting. They're on a bare stage, and we begin with a funeral. And Gil, played by Adrian Lester, is giving a eulogy to his late father, his hero. Now 50, he's the youngest child of four, the only boy, and clearly in the shadow of his older sisters and in awe of his late father. And in the course of the play, we learn that his life has been shackled, really, by following in his father's footsteps as a businessman, rather than being comfortable with being the kind but perhaps naive man that he clearly is. And it seems the father was not the paragon that he thought he was, because at the funeral he meets Benny, played by Danny Sapani, and we soon discover he's an unacknowledged child of Gil's father, born just a few weeks after him. Gil and Benny are drawn to one another, and from then on they are set on a path that starts with bonding and leads them hand in hand to disaster. Well, that's a 1 minute summary. Keep watching for more about this superb production and the fabulous performances by Adrian Lester and Danny Sapani. Both Gil and Benny satisfy a need in the other. Gil is pleased to have a younger brother, albeit by a few weeks, someone he can impress. And Benny, who spent much of his childhood in care, now has a connection with a dad and siblings for the first time in his life. There's a lot about fathers and sons and the influence, good and bad, that a father may have on a son, or the lack of a father may have. They both have their demons, and each boosts the other. They bond through music and dance. Both actors have fine voices and are good movers, and the songs they sing pepper the story, and their reliving of their 80s youth gives them a shared experience that they never had at the time. Benny, who's musically knowledgeable, calls it sympathetic resonance. The first song is Bill Withers' Lean on Me When You're Not Strong. And Benny introduces Gil to a gym where he can unleash his frustration with his life. For a while, it's wonderful to hear these two men conversing about their lives and their feelings, relaxed and natural. But we know something must go wrong. There are hints there. And it does. But I won't go into the details of that, just to say, like any two people who blindly love each other, they lead one another down this fatal path. Adrian Lester takes us through many emotions as his character moves from confident to destroyed. His face, his eyes, his voice all transform. It's a masterclass in acting. Danny Sapani, too, is a revelation. He's not an actor that's been particularly on my radar, I admit, but I was touched by his sensitivity and the puppy-like enthusiasm he conveyed, so apparently at odds with his bulky body. The 90 minutes fly by. Lolita Chakrabarti's script is so tight and so true. And it's interesting, I think, that at a time when it's sometimes suggested that authors should not or cannot write about things outside their experience, a woman manages to make these men so believable. It's unfortunate that COVID restrictions prevent the actors touching, because there are moments when they would have hugged or given one another a helping hand. But the camera work does well to suggest closeness. In fact, this is a lesson in how to film a stage play, especially considering it's done live. It feels very like theatre, the bare stage designed by Miriam Buter that does just enough to suggest and then leave the rest to your imagination. Prima Meta's lighting and Blanche McIntyre's direction, which ensures we concentrate on the two characters and hardly notice that you're seeing it through a lens. I was applauding at the end, and I give it 5 stars. Now, the run at the Almeida is very limited. In fact, it ends on Sunday, the 21st of February. So get a ticket if you can, but if not, just keep your fingers crossed that a recording of this wonderful play will be made available. If you found this review useful or interesting, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, 1 Minute Theatre Reviews, and you'll be the first to know about future reviews and features. Thank you for watching.